Hey, let me show you what I've got here. This diaphragm call, along with this tube, make an excellent call for bugling elk. Today we're going to go up into the hills, see if we can't bugle an elk. So you stay with me. I'm Hank Parker.
Today, Hank is joined by outdoor writer Steve Price and game caller Skip Serble. We'll join them on a journey into high country in quest of the magnificent North American elk. Also today, we'll go underwater for some interesting insights that could well surprise you. And a little later, flying fish.
Man, I can't believe you'd have set the hook on a fish like that.
I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Oh, I feel so sorry that I caught this little guy.
What you got, Glenn?
He's got his whole life ahead of him, and I about ripped his lips off.
Filmmaker Glenn Lau shows Hank some fantastic Florida fishing.
Not a bad fish either.
1, 2, 3, 4. The house needs painting, the grass needs mowing. Where's he at?
Hi, this is Hank. Sorry I missed your call. Leave me your name and your number and I'll get back to you.
He's gone fishing.
Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine, featuring the only sportsman to ever win the BASS Triple Crown, the Bassmasters Classic, BASS Angler of the Year, and Super Bass 4.
I'm talking on this telephone, Angie, but this is your husband. If you remember what I look like, I hadn't been home in so long. But I'm standing on the stage here looking out at about 1,000 people at Super Bass, and I just won the tournament. Boy, he's got that grunt down. Skip, that sounds great. Boy, it really does sound good. Steve, why don't you introduce our guest today?
Hank, today we've got Skip Serble from Mears, Oklahoma. I'd rate him one of the top elk callers in the country.
Boy, talking about calling elk, you know, a lot of our folks at home may not know why the elk are bugling this time of year. Steve, why don't you tell us why the elk are actually bugling?
Hank, it's part of the mating ritual. It usually starts in September and it might last about 6 weeks. The big bulls are gathering a harem of cows, and the younger bulls are challenging them, and the big bulls are answering. And occasionally you'll see them fight over these cows.
So what we're going to do is just kind of go out and try and simulate a big bull elk. And Skip, you think these are probably the best calls? I know that this is the call that you prefer. Tell us about it.
You know, Hank, on your diaphragm calls, you know, you can control your volume and your pitch with it so much better than you can on any other call.
Right.
And like the call I've got is a little deeper call than what you have. Yours is representing a spike, whereas mine's representing more of a 6x6, you know, which they call a royal.
6x6. That's a big bull with six on each side. I got you. I got you. Well, I'll tell you what. I saw an elk this morning. I didn't tell you guys about over in the meadow. So I'm going to go over there. Where are you guys going to go?
Well, we might follow you, but no, I think we're going to head into the basin. We feel like we might be able to call up something over in the Rocky country over there.
All right, let's meet back here, say what, 3 hours?
Sounds good.
All right, see you then.
All right.
Good luck, guys.
Often referred to as monarchs of the mountains, elk are creatures of the true wilderness, living for the most part in the high meadows and forests of the American West. They're members of the North American deer family, though they bear little resemblance to the most common member of that family, the white-tailed deer. Elk have an acute sense of smell and excellent hearing, but their eyesight is only average. Like other deer, they're colorblind, but easily able to spot movement. Quickly running at the first sign of danger, they're considered the wildest of all deer. Top speed is about 35 miles per hour, and they can trot for hours on end. In early autumn, the bulls become very vocal as they begin collecting harems of cows they keep throughout the mating season. And often, by imitating these bugling sounds, bulls can be lured close into camera range. The antlers of the bulls are certainly their most impressive feature. In a mature bull, they can be massive, weighing up to 50 pounds. They are shed annually, but begin growing back almost immediately. Like many other species of North American wildlife, elk were once common throughout much of the United States when the first explorers arrived, inhabiting not only the mountains, but the prairies as well. Severe overhunting combined with continued habitat destruction nearly wiped them out entirely. But strong conservation practices have brought them back so successfully that today this magnificent animal is found from New Mexico northward to Montana and all the way into Canada. Next, an underwater experiment with Hank and fishing scientist Paul Johnson. And still ahead.
How about that, Glenn? Hey, we're fishing today with a good friend of mine, Glenn Lau, Mr. Big Mouth. I've admired Glenn ever since he made the film Big Mouth. We're fishing somewhere, I can't tell you exactly where. Glenn made me promise this morning before we left his home in Ocala that I'd wear a blindfold. So if anybody recognizes where we are, write me a letter and tell me, because I was blindfolded as we came here. But anyway, we're fishing on one of Glenn's honey holes, and he says we're going to catch a big fish. I keep waiting, but any time now, I guess, Glenn, huh?
Hank, I don't mind you referring to me as Mr. Big Mouth, but you know, would you explain that? I really, my parents will probably be watching the show.
Mr. Big Mouth. Glenn, I really don't think that needs an explanation. I bet everybody that knows anything at all about fishing has seen the movie Big Mouth, which is a movie I guess you produced. It's been about 10 years now, hasn't it?
Right. 10 years, 10 months, and 10 days.
10 years, 10 months, and 10 days. And I guess it still ranks as the #1 underwater fishing film ever produced. Would you guess?
Well, naturally, I'd say so.
Oh, I think so.
Probably
too.
#1 in the world.
I think so,
Maybe
too.
in the universe.
I don't know if I'll go that far.
Oh, you lucky rascal.
Hey, man, there's a 2-pounder.
You lucky rascal.
There are 3 ways you can try moving closer to these fish. With a gas outboard, with a noisy electric, or with a quiet Minn Kota electric. To a fisherman, the choice is black and white. Minn Kota, the quiet power that catches fish.
Go for it with Ryobi. Tough, dependable reels for any kind of fishing. Ryobi. There's never been a better reason to go fishing.
Why do I use original fish formula? Simple. Fish formula contains an oil base that perfectly duplicates the natural visual discharge given off by shad, crayfish, and most everything game fish feed on. The scent and taste attractors in the formula stay on my lure and live bait longer and at greater depth. Original fish formula absolutely helps me catch more and bigger bass than any other species I fish for. I just don't go fishing without original fish formula.
You're looking at the high-technology laser system Berkeley uses to make trilene fishing line. The line that's stronger than the rest. The line Jack Chancellor fished to win the Bassmaster Classic. Mike Folkestad used to win the U.S. Open. The line that set over 1,000 world records in the past 2 years. And the line that guarantees satisfaction or your money back. Fish Trilene, Berkeley Trilene, America's extra strong premium monofilament.
It's hard to believe a line that thin can be so strong.
Here's Hank's tip of the week.
You know, you've heard me many times make a reference to using light line with small baits to get a lure to dive deeper and to have better action on a lure. Today, I'm here with Paul Johnson, and we're going to test the difference between two extremes, 6-pound test monofilament and 30-pound monofilament. And we're going to see how deep the lures will dive and how they actually perform underwater. Paul, tell us, I see you've got your pole there. You're going to try for an underwater pole vault record?
No pole vault records today, but we're going to set some new pioneering research in line running depths. We're going to measure it, and I'll pick it up underwater as you cast and run these lures by me. Every foot, I'll detect where that lure is running, and I'll also pay particular attention to the action of the lure. So let me go on down and get positioned, and then you cast past and work them the same way every time.
Okay, so you're going to position yourself here on the drop-off. We've got about 22, 3-foot water here, so you'll get here on the drop-off, and I'll just cast beyond it. I'm going to start with the 30-pound line.
Okay, and I'll be ready.
Okay. This is really going to be neat. You're going to see what a tremendous difference line diameter will make. And you need to remember when you're buying monofilament line that all 10-pound or all 30-pound or 6-pound test line are not the same in diameter. Just because they're labeled 6-pound or 10-pound test line doesn't mean they're all the same. He's got that pole set up in about 20 foot of water.
Unlike fish, I won't be able to hear the lure splash down. There, I can see it coming down. Sure, no problem seeing that 30-pound high-vis line. You can see the lip of the crankbait wanting to push it down, but the resistance of the line wants to push it up. I can even hear the hooks rattling as it goes past. The lure action looks sluggish. Let's see, running depth was only 12 feet. That's interesting.
Now let's see what it looks like on 6-pound line.
Okay, here comes the thin line. 6-pound test, but I can still see it. It got down faster, and it's running much deeper. Better lure action, too. Running depth, 17 feet. Hank and I repeated the test a number of times to verify the numbers. This is important if you want to get down to the depth where the fish are holding. The thicker 30-pound test line runs shallower every time. The thinner 6-pound line got down faster, and it ran deeper. I learned long ago that to do accurate underwater studies, you must record your observations right away. Now, fish don't have to write things down. They simply react to what they see. I could see the lines and the effect they had. There's no doubt in my mind that fish can see them too. As I started up, I wish there was a way more fishermen could be down here with me and see for themselves what I just observed.
Quite a difference, huh, Paul?
Unbelievable.
I tell you what, you can see there's a tremendous advantage to use light line with your lure. It'll help you gain depth. It increases the action of the lure. But there's times that you can't use light line because of the heavy cover if you're fishing around barnacles or whatever. And one trick that I've learned to use and still get the performance out of your lure with heavy line is a cross-lock snap. You can see this snap. It is black, low visibility, and yet the way it hooks over, you don't have to worry about it coming unsnapped. And it'll help that lure perform even with heavy line when you have to use it.
For a printed copy of some of Hank's tips for the great outdoors, just write Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine, Denver, North Carolina.
Lynn?
Yes, sir.
I think I got one. Pretty sure.
Not very big, but you got a head and a tail.
That's what Frank Hill calls a keeper.
Is that right?
Yes,
Anything
sir.
with a head and a tail?
Anything with a head and a tail.
Oh, see, it's bigger than you thought it was.
Not bad. I think I got one. Boy, he's got a shad. You don't want to come in the boat.
How deep? How deep were you? I'd say it was about 7 feet deep. This bait I got on will run about 12 feet, and he hit pretty quick. Okay. I got my lure running really going yet. It wasn't quite on the bottom. 7 feet 3 inches. Yeah, don't be wrong. Got him on the outside. That's a pelican, a white pelican. Is that right? I don't think I've ever seen one. Rare and endangered bird. Take a look at this. Oh, there's a hit. Got him? Nope, got off. That's what he's been eating. Got a shad. See the tail or a brim? What is that? That doesn't look like a shad. Looks like a bird feather. That's a bird's feather. I think it's a heron. He ate a heron. Now, how would a little fish like that eat a big heron like that? Huh? I don't know. He got him. You shouldn't throw him back. You know, the heron population could disappear because of that fish. He's figured it out. What would the Audubon Society say? I don't know what they'd think of that. You know, every once in a while, there comes a product that has a real practical benefit to the fisherman. And I'm proud to say that Quick Kick's that kind of a product. No bells or whistles, Quick Kick is just the most innovative improvement to the troll motor since the foot pedal itself. Quick Kick, when attached to your foot pedal, secures the pedal in place. This will allow you to travel at high speeds in rough water without fear of damage to your boat or your trolling motor. Yet, at the same time, pivot from side to side with just a simple kick of the foot. This will allow you to position your pedal without bending over and using your hands. And best of all, Quick Kick is available for any size troll motor and all types of boats, from aluminum to fiberglass.
When ordering, be sure to specify the model of your trolling motor. Call toll-free or send $22.95 plus $4 shipping to Hank Parker's Quick Kick, Denver, North Carolina.
Quick Kick will give you more time for the important things.
At Ranger, safety has always been extremely important. As a pioneer in upright and level flotation, our safety standards are among the highest in the industry. Beneath the surface of every Ranger, quality construction and foam-filled cavities tell the whole story. Even with huge sections of the bow, floor, rails, and transom cut away, a Ranger boat remains very much afloat.
Ranger boats, we still build them one at a time.
Berkley makes a rod so sensitive you can feel a feather drop on the tip. It's called the Berkley Bionics, biomedically engineered to be the lightest, most sensitive graphite you've ever fished. Berkley scientists have taken you apart muscle by muscle, cast by cast, to build a rod that significantly reduces wrist and forearm fatigue. A 100% high-energy graphite that casts like the wind. A rod that makes every strike register as a solid jolt. And a rod that can make you a better fisherman. Berkley Bionics, the best performing graphite rod you've ever fished, or your money back.
Come on. I got that old secret bait out, boy, now. Did you get that out of my tackle box? Let me get him around where he's closer to the lens and he'll look bigger. That's cheap. I love it. I love it. You got that bait out of my tackle box. No, I didn't. No, yes, I didn't. You did. Look at there. He's what you call a pretty fish. I know the man that makes that bait, and he promised me I had the only one like it. Is that right? I've had this bait for 2 years. Uh-oh. Glenn, that fish was right on the break. I was rooting bottom. And just as soon as I came off the bottom, that's when he took it. You didn't get a whole lot of it. How come you catch them in the lower lip like that? How do you do that? That's a trick, tournament fisherman's trick, where you can hurry up and get them in the boat, get them off, and get back out. It paralyzes them, doesn't it? I don't know. They hit the line and they just give up. Maybe. Come to the boat. Hey, I wish I knew a trick to make them give up. Paralyzed hole, huh? Oh, there's a paralyzed hole. Boy, you're into them. I think I think he's got me paralyzed. That's wonderful.
That's wonderful.
It's a lot of fun, guys.
Every day is a holiday and the skies are baby blue, and anybody don't like this life is crazy.
Ooh, Glenn. Boy, this is not even fun at all. We could be home mowing grass.
You know, John Powell solved the grass situation. He got grass that'll grow up 3 inches and stop.
Where you could go fishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna force me into putting on a crankbait.
Tell you, I don't think it'll hit a crankbait. I'd stay with that big worm.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay, you talk me into it.
You shouldn't have done that. I missed him and flipped back in there and caught him. How about that? I think he ate the other half. That worm's got that stuff on it that makes him eat it.
He doesn't have a bird in his mouth, does he?
No bird. Or else he's already swallowed the whole bird. There he is. Hey, you're doing good.
Oh, boy. Look at that.
How about it?
I didn't even catch him in the mouth. I snagged it.
Boy, that is a hook now, I'm gonna tell you.
My reflexes are getting better.
Lynn, do you feel like diving, seeing these bass, observing them in their habitat has helped you fishing to see how they parallel themselves to the structure?
Yeah, definitely, Hank. I can honestly say I attribute all my years as a guide, and I had a policy of no fish or no pay, and we always caught fish. And I attribute that to the underwater studies that I did on the environment, that was the fish's environment, to be able to find out certain areas where there always seemed to be fish under certain conditions. And on a big lake, you can't really see it. All you see is water. But along the kind of areas that we have here, you know, you'll see a tree come down and you look for certain things. And if there's a root system or whatever that comes out from it, you know that that's going to hold fish. In a place like this, you're always looking for some kind of structure. And having been down there and see all this, I think that it really helps. You know, you picture the thing in your mind, the kind of places where you've seen bass hiding back under there. And that's very important.
Someday I want to be certified to dive. I really want to see it. But until then, I'll just have to look at the footage you're shooting.
Well, you know, as many bass as you've caught, now you may go down there and they may gang up on you.
I don't think there's any danger of that.
What's a bass fishing meant to you in largemouth bass?
You know, I don't really know how I got so hooked on bass fishing. I started out as a kid and I did a lot of pan fishing, did a lot of crappie fishing with my dad, and it was always something about a bass that was just mystifying. It was just a special fish to me. When I got a little older and I could afford some of those $2 bass lures, I started going around and fishing some of the farm ponds and things, and I really got hooked on it. And then as I worked, you know, just before I was 16 and able to really get a job, I used to bag grocery for my uncle. He had a little grocery store and saved my money. And then when I was 16, I got a job after school and saved my money. When I was 17, instead of buying a car, I bought a bass boat. I had to bum a ride with all my friends to the lake. You know, they had a trailer hitch that could pull me. I didn't even have a car, but I had a bass boat. So I started fishing some of the little tournaments and things and really got hooked on tournament fishing. But there's a lot more to bass fishing and a lot more to what we have here than just tournament fishing. You know, I make a living tournament fishing, and I appreciate that opportunity. That isn't what bass fishing means to me. Bass fishing means a lot more than just tournament fishing. It's being out here and having the freedom that we have and able to make a presentation and trick that fish and catch him and hold him up and admire him and then let him go. Yeah. It means a lot.
Yeah, I feel the same way, Hank, really. I don't know what this world would be like if we didn't have largemouth bass. What would we do?
I don't know if I can handle it, Glenn.
I love it.
I do too. I really hope you enjoyed the show today, and I hope you enjoyed my special guest as much as I did. Thanks for being with me today. God bless you. I'm Hank Parker. Glenn, I appreciate you being on the show, buddy. It means a lot to me.
Let's catch one more fish.
All right, we got 10 seconds. Go.
Hank Parker's Outdoor Magazine, sponsored by 100% high-energy graphite rods from Berkeley Bionics. Fish Formula, we fool Mother Nature. Humminbird Depth Sounders. Mercury Outboards, put the legend behind you. Minn Kota, quiet power catches fish. Ranger Boats, we still build them one at a time. Ryobi, there's never been a better reason to go fishing. And Trilene, extra strong.
The house needs painting, the grass needs mowing. Where's he at?
Hank, this is Tom. You told me to call you when they're biting. They're biting.
Gone fishing.
He doesn't have a bird in his mouth, does he?
No bird.